Hey guys, I'm going to review the German VK3001H Panzerkampfwagen 6 Ausführung A from Trumpeter, who I've never done a review of and never built anything of, so that's weird to me. This comes from 2008 and I've been eyeing it up for a long time. The reason why, and I will go Tiger nerd on you for a minute. The Tiger 1, which is, I think anyone who watches anything that I do knows, is my favorite thing in the world, apart from like my family breathing. Came from this. So this is the 30-ton Durchbruchwagen, right? So breakthrough tank. It was a prototype thing. Eventually these chassis were used on the Sture Emil, right, in Russia, but this led to VK3601, which led to VK4501, which became Tiger 1. So I got this because there is no VK3601, which is a much heavier chassis, but it's like the first time you see these interleave road wheels, and it's sort of Panzer IV meets Tiger, and I couldn't resist because I'm going to do a Tiger 1 build on the initial prototype V1 with the Vorpanzer stuff, and I'm going to do the Porsche prototype as well, all in just Panzer gray with no markings, and this would fit right in with that stuff. Not that I'm made out of shelf space, but these just spark my interest and they fuel that thing that I need to build these things. So we'll look at this as well as this, which I got with it from a guy on eBay who actually is one of my subscribers, which was weird. So let's look at it. The instructions are booklet, but black and white. Sprue map is not massive. I was actually surprised how little was in here, but that's kind of refreshing because I'm getting a little burnt out on some of these things, like the Ryefield Tiger with interior. I'm like, good God, how long can it take? The suspension, it looks like we've got 2-part sprockets, 3-part wheels. That's interesting. That's idlers. And then 1, 2, 3, 4-piece wheels. 8 wheels per side, which isn't very many for interleaved. Swing arms, because this was a torsion bar tank. Pretty simple here. The idler mounts are separate. That's not always done. I kind of prefer it to be. So here they're suggesting more wheels go on. There's a very sort of Tiger 1 looking thing there. That's why I like this thing so much. It's such a bizarre mashup of all the Panzers that I do like. Because that's like a Panzer III looking final drive, but with like Tiger 1 sort of stuff. Return rollers. Looks like there may be an escape hatch here as well. Rear plate. Now I don't care for this. This is a 2-half sort of thing. Very notch dragon. So you have to clean up some seams there. Here they're talking to us about their vinyl tracks. Here they're telling us to put tracks on and put rear panel on. This is all very, very simple to this point, almost Tamiya simple. Here we've got a vision slot in the front, I think. Looks a little Panzer III-ish. The majority of the upper hull is done in one piece. Got some odd hatches here. And like a Tiger 1 pistol port on the side almost. It's bizarre. Looks like a light. And then we're mounting it to a very large fender assembly, which is both parts of both fenders connected there. Then we're mounting this down on the lower hull with tracks in theory. Check out those crazy hatches on top of the turret. There's some actual pistol ports on the rear of it. Cupola is almost Stug 3 looking. And then finally we're getting the gun together. However, we have 2 halves here, but I believe I have a spare gun of this sort, because this is an early Panzer IV gun. And the old super kits would come with metal and slide molded ones, so hopefully I have a couple slide molded barrels like this laying around. MG going into the mantlet, which normally aren't very full assemblies, but it's alright. Finishing up the turret. This is in halves. I think I have extra ones of those from Dragon as well. This is one of those kits where when I bought it I knew I'd have to kind of pimp it out a little to make it good. Turret interior seems on par with the level of detail you would see in Dragon stuff probably, maybe a little more so actually. Got some stuff going on there. Yeah, we've got traversing wheels and stuff. That's pretty impressive. Was not aware that was in here. Final page. Put turret on tank. Thanks for telling me. Wasn't sure. And a whole block for finish. Marking options are on their own colored piece of paper. So we've got just the one, which is kind of fun, and it says gray, which is fantastic. Because you get all these amazing tritonal camo schemes on Dragon stuff in blue and gray and black, and then these guys give you full color grayscale paint. The decals that come in here are like this. I'm not going to really mess with them. I've seen this kind of sheet before. It's just 0 through 9 twice, a couple of Balkenkreuz. I will have this unmarked, so I'm not going to use this. So the first sprue, we have the exhaust, the front plate, some kind of other plate. Looks like the gun sleeve, the escape hatch bits, the parts by the final drives, more parts of the gun mantlet, breech guard and stuff. I automatically do not care for the way that they did this exhaust. That's not good. So here's what they did that I don't like. These are in halves like that. That's very old school molding type of thing. It'd be smarter to even do these in 2 halves and those in 2 halves than to do all of this like this. The chances of that getting messed up are pretty high. The rest of the parts seem okay. A little plain, but alright. Lots of old school halves of things and like this. That looks alright. You know, at least that's not halves. But like the molded on MG ball, that's a little bit of a strange move. We've got 2 of these, which is our suspension. All the parts for the wheels, swing arms, return rollers, drive sprockets, and final drives. Very simple looking sprue. Detail on these looks alright. Nothing amazing. Ejector pin marks here, but I assume this gets something glued to it, but hopefully they're not raised so much that I need to remove them. I'm kind of a lazy modeler. If I can get away with not removing something, I will. There is our drive sprocket. Not really similar to anything. I guess Tiger 1 more than, of course I would have one next to me. So there's your Tiger 1 sprocket. Swing arms look fine. Nothing too bad. Return rollers look alright. There's our mounting points for the return rollers. They look okay. Idler almost has a Tiger feel to it, but with like rubber by the look of it. And then we have our other wheels up here. Everything looks okay. So here we've got the bottom of the turret, mantlet pieces, some mounting points for the basket floor, and the 2 halves of the gun. Some of the cupola as well. And of course the upper part of the turret. This stuff looks okay. The welds are a little muted compared to what you would see on Dragon, if that's what that is. Shell basket's interesting. And there are pin marks in the inside of it. Looks okay. Yeah, this stuff looks pretty good actually. Again, it feels a little stiff. I'm not like blown away by any of it. By stiff I mean not quite as thin or refined as what we're used to seeing in super modern stuff. This thing's coming on 7-8 years old, I guess. The turret roof. The bevels are sharp, which I like. That's important. Size comparison, we'll bring in my trusty spare Panzer III bit, so it's only marginally larger. It does have these crazy hatches on top. Nothing's flashy. Nothing I've seen at all, by the way, so far has been flashy. Just a little bit dated, I guess. So the fenders are like this, which I've never seen anything quite like that before. They are connected via this thing, which I guess is the front plate. It seems awfully smooth. So again, there's an oddity. You've got this headlight and its conduit molded on. Looks a bit crap, actually. That might need to be fixed. Not sure. The diamond plate is very subtle. And then this stuff seems well molded, but a little plain. At least there's no Sprue Gates to clean up on the fenders themselves, but these headlight conduits are kind of awful. And then you've already got these kind of molded on here. It's not so good. A little out of order than usual. We have a few clear parts here. They seem tolerable. Again, never know what to say about clear parts. So we have our upper hull, which is again a lot of stuff molded on into one piece. Normally you'd see this kind of cut like this, and maybe these would be separate pieces as well. The bevels on it feel fine, but even like your engine hatches are molded on. So the detail on these hinges looks fine. These are very Panzer III style hinges. Actually, all of this is very Panzer III-esque. But some real simplified detail. I don't see any welds marking where the plates should be as far as like how it was manufactured. You've got molded on tie downs here, or maybe something goes in between there, but pretty simplified. It's okay. The hull tub is, again, like the rear plate is molded onto it. It's a little strange, and it's just bank. I might have to create some welds in there. Not much to report, really. Detail on the bottom is nearly non-existent. The stuff that's molded here looks okay. For size comparison, here is this. This is a Panzer IV, so they're nearly the exact same size. So Trumpeter's kit tracks are, interestingly enough, hollow guide horn. Detail on them seems okay. There's the hollow guide horns, kind of a la DS tracks. They seem okay. They're not warped or anything. But I don't like vinyl tracks, so that's why I bought the kit with the spare tracks already with it. Detail on the backside, pretty flat, but tracks are flat on the back. Detail there seems pretty good. They seem like really nice vinyl tracks for vinyl tracks. So I replaced them with these. Now how these come are in a large bag with a left and a right on each little sprue, so there'll be lots of cleanup there. And then a ton of these little sprues that have just pins on them. So the detail on them, let's bring in the vinyl for comparison. Much crisper on the individual plastic ones. My main concern, of course, though, is for workability. I just like the way that these sit better. That's a big part of German tanks. It's part of the personality, so I tend to get a lot of aftermarket tracks. I know that's expensive, but that's what I do. Guide horns, these are still really solid for vinyl tracks, but that's how these guys look. Lots of assembly, 5 Sprue Gates per link, so you've got 2 here and 3 there. It's great when the Sprue Gates are on these hinge parts here. The problem is that a lot of these Tiger style and Panther ones, actually, Tiger ones are flat, but Panther ones, excuse me, have an arc in here, so you gotta kind of carve in there with a knife to make sure they sit correctly. The pins are just pins. So overall, the kit is not terribly impressive. I think this is a necessary upgrade. When I talked to my friend Hamilton Barkus, he said he had built it and it was okay, but get the tracks, so I did. Vehicle, super interesting. Kit, underwhelming. So, but I kind of knew that, and that's okay. I just want to try different things, different companies, and not so different. It's got to stay Tiger related. We can get different within the Tiger world. So, yes, I think people overcharge for this a lot. I got it for what I think it's worth, but that's with the tracks. I think that a lot of people, if you wanted to find it, most of the dealers that have it are Chinese dealers who want way more than the molding is worth.